Book 1, Law of Salimi, Chapter 62. The end is the beginning of an ending. While I write with every chapter, it seemed that thousands more seemed to have flooded into my head, which demanded to be included in my life story. Hence, let me end my life story here for now. While this is the end of my book about my life story, it is the first and the very beginning of my life, which I intend to fill up with hundreds of books to be written. It seemed impossible to include everything that I know into a single book, possibly even impossible to be included inside hundreds of books, but let me try my best to do so. No limitation, no boundaries to stop me from sharing knowledge to the masses public about everything that I had discovered in my life journey while walking the path of a scholar. Am I a true scholar? You decide. Some call me bullshit, others call me crazy idealist. If you enjoy reading all of the bullshit that I wrote in this book, stay tuned for my future upcoming books that would explore virtually every genre existing in the writing industry, as well as I intended to create several new genres, especially related to the perspective of Islam that pursue the goals of achieving peace, harmony, and goodness to all mankind, both Muslims and non-Muslims in this universe. The so-called terrorist Muslim does not represent the real views of Islam that prohibited doing harm to anyone and anything in this universe. I truly hope to cultivate the culture of learning and knowledge in the pursuit of truth to all of my readers and to the masses public all over the world. Open your mind and your heart so that you could establish the passion of learning and knowledge in our present society. Change your heart so that you could become a good human being, regardless of whether you are a Muslim or non-Muslim. I pray to Allah the Merciful to open the eyes from the veil of riba that had been blinded the masses public, and the majority of respondents that I had interviewed over the duration of my PhD research for 7 years. Out of the hundreds people interviewed, only several people who could see the truth and fight towards utterly abolishing riba from this world, whereas numerous scholars and experts seem to be veiled from seeing the truth. I blame no one, but encourage each one of us to improve our knowledge in both conventional and Islamic knowledge, because lacking any one of it would cause most people to be blinded from the truth. I do not intend to write books about preaching others, but simply to share whatever knowledge that I had acquired from my life journey. As we had reached almost to the end of this book about my life story so far, I am happy to announce that it is not the end of my actual life journey. It is in fact a new beginning for me, considering that I am focusing my life towards writing books and sharing knowledge to the masses public. So don't be sad, because this book is about to reach its end. In fact, I highly recommend that you wait for my next book if you truly enjoy my writing. I also would like to take this opportunity to inform that everything in this book is the true life event that happened in my life, based on my own perspective of what actually happened. I did not alter anything except the concealment of the true identity of people who might wish to remain anonymous in this book. If you were mentioned in this book, I hope that I had painted the best picture of you from the best light possible. If anyone who felt harmed in any way after reading this book, I am sorry and would like to offer of my sincerest and humblest apologies to everyone. If you feel that you should be mentioned in this book but did not appear anywhere in this book about my life, it might be possible that I chose to omit that particular event because it might cause harm to someone. I had a better use of your story in future books, or simply I do not give enough space to include your story in this very short book of mine. Furthermore, I would like to apologize to anyone whom I had caused any harm in any way imaginable, be it physically, mentally, spiritually, or emotionally, be it intentionally or unintentionally. I am absolutely sorry for anything that I had ever did, and please consider myself to be lacking of knowledge for doing so. Please forgive me. Moreover, I wish to convey my greatest gratitude to everyone who bought and support this book, as well as anyone who shared this book with others in attempt to spread and share knowledge acquired from reading this book about my life. It is exactly the intention that I had when I wrote this book, which is to share knowledge, because I hope that the knowledge used for goodness to others would bring about continuous benefit as amal jariyah in the view of Allah the Almighty. In addition, for those who make the purchase of this book, which is priced at RM10, will be in my every prayers for every day in my life, wishing for your success in this life and the hereafter. I will also pray to Allah, the Merciful, for anyone who purchased the book to be given the passion for knowledge and learning in their heart. I hope that this passion will ignite a great life for everyone, as well as to pass them to others or the youth of the next generation, especially for your own children, because it is in accordance to the teachings of Islam and the Maqasid Sharia to pursue for knowledge. Everything that I wrote in this book is based on my own understanding about the teachings of Islam, which might not be perfect or accurate, so please be aware about it. I am not an expert in the knowledge of Islam, considering my extremely limited knowledge gained in my lifetime. I hope for the best to everyone in this universe. I wish to bring about peace and harmony and goodness to all of mankind, including Muslims and non-Muslims alike. I would love to see our society would evolve towards embracing knowledge to create benefit to everyone and share the knowledge as encouraged by the teachings of Islam, Maqasid Sharia, and the true essence and spirit of Islam Tesi. The principle and core values of Islam represent the concept of justice and fairness to all in this universe, which should be applied to all living and non-living things regardless of their religions and beliefs. I had seen numerous non-Muslims who possess a better Islamic values in their heart far beyond most other Muslims, including my own. I will strive for every second of my life in the pursuit of learning and knowledge and walking the path of a scholar which had been set for my life by the will of Allah the Almighty. There is nothing to be said There is nothing to be said about it. If it made me who I am today, because I sure am grateful to Allah the All-Knowing for everything that had happened in my life, whether it was good or bad, since everything that happened to me made me who I am today. There is no regret and I had blamed no one for anything. I hold the concept of anything that doesn't kill me makes me stronger. While I rarely disclose my real life story with anyone since the past 7 years of my life, I do have to admit that it would be a great loss if I simply kept it hidden as a secret, when my life story should be able to inspire and give benefits to others and the masses public. It is not a heroic tale where I save the world like you can see in the movies, but I do intend to save and protect this universe against the practice of riba that had seeped into every industry all over the world. It was filled with the catalyst of materialism and hedonism. It is the cancer to this universe. Since the last 7 years, I had performed my PhD thesis and research with my best possible effort to improve my knowledge in various fields of study imaginable, in order to achieve the bird's eye view or the 360-degree sight upon the issue of riba. I had learned both the Islamic perspective as well as the conventional knowledge that went back as far as the earliest civilization of mankind. This knowledge seemed to be lacking in most scholars today, which led me to believe that it might be the cause that veiled their sight and understanding about the true threat and dangers of riba. Most of us were veiled from seeing the big picture, which caused the destination of our present society and banking system today moving towards a different goal as garnered by the teachings of Islam, Maqasid Sharia, and the true essence and spirit of Islam Tesi. I had pushed myself to the hardest possible in searching about riba, which uncovered a horrific picture that would be best described by the book written by Imran and Hussein regarding the subject matter of riba. In doing so, I had been afflicted with severe insomnia, which still persists until the present day, although it was less tiring now. Deprivation of sleep and rest had pushed my boundaries of lifestyle from becoming a normal living human being, yet I believe that it is something that I would gladly pay for discovering a wealth of understanding about riba, which might bring benefit to the masses public. I would consider myself to be dragged into the borderline of insanity, yet I am grateful to have Islam as my way of life because it provided me with goals and destination in my life so that I would not give up in my life. Furthermore, all of the abilities that had been given to me by Allah the Almighty had been put to good use in my journey to walk the path of a scholar. I may not be as great as the previous scholars who walked on the face of this earth, but in the modern world of today, I am glad to be chosen as one who is still on the path of a scholar, despite of my shortcomings and problems. I am no saint, nor I am a great scholar, but I hope that I could offer some form of benefit to the masses public from my limited knowledge, my life experience, and the sharing of knowledge that I wish to achieve via writing this book. For students and parents who had children studying at school, I hope that my study method and tactics described in this book should be helpful in achieving the best possible academic result. I do wish to write books that purely focus on every single tactics that I had ever discovered, stumbled, created, or given to me from my life journey related to studying and gaining knowledge as a student. I could only explore a small amount of it in this book, which had been tested to my students and had been proven to be extremely successful to achieve in some cases 4.0 flat CGPA, as well as creating a good human being to boot. There are thousands more things that could be said and written in this book, but I had to really stop now, considering it is reaching the end of this book. Please continue supporting my books in the upcoming future, because I wish to write as much as possible until the day I reach of my demise. May Allah the Almighty blesses all of my readers, inshallah. With that, we have reached the end of the chapter, the final chapter, and this is one of the pictures taken. I think you know who this is. So all I could say is thanks for the support of this book, and hopefully for my future books as well. Before I go, did I ever tell you about this girl whom I met? If you look at the cover of this book, it shows me talking to her. My drawing is not that good, but that is her. Her name is, well, let me call her Respondent 000. With that, it ends the final chapter of my story. Thank you very much for listening, and hope to see you in the last part of the writing, which is the epilogue. Thank you for listening.